Just me being honest, and this one I don't mean to offend anybody when I make it. But here's the two things that bother me about spirituality and having a disability. Two, they put the wrong narrative out about spirituality and people with a disability. And I mean no disrespect when I say this, but to me, spirituality should be one of the beginning religions along with all the other ones. And I feel like the only reason why people put it down is because when people tried it, they realized that it can get us out of this haze that the world tries to put us in. And the world wants us to stay in this haze of toxicness and doing the wrong thing. And they want us to stay in the fact that the government controls us and tells us what to believe. And I feel like spirituality is the thing that can get people out of that mindset and see that life is to be lived the way you want to live it. And anything that gives us more control than the government wants to allow is frowned upon. So I feel like that's why they go out their way to pick the bad cases of people that's went through bad parts of their spirituality and be like, look, spirituality is the wrong thing to do. Look, if you get into spirituality, that's what you can expect to happen. But those are just isolated cases that they choose to highlight. They don't choose to highlight people like my brother Grand Vibes, my sister Life Coach Jay, and all the other great spiritualists on this app, like Miss Yoletta, aka my spiritual mother, or my spiritual auntie, or my spiritual auntie, Miss Empath Divine Jones, or people like that, or my best friend that's on live right now, or my best friend that's on live right now, or anybody like that. They choose to highlight what they want to highlight, and they choose to Miss Angela, or they choose to highlight anybody that makes it look a certain way. We have to control our own. We have to, as spiritualists, we have to speak out and control our own narrative. Or as a disabled person, to me, they always, no disrespect to any disabled people when I say this, but it seems like they always choose the ones that has the more severe problem to try to paint the narrative that you should feel sorry for disabled people. They never interview people like me or my best friend that were born with a disability that can really talk for themselves and show the functional side of disability. They always go for the ones that people feel sorry for, or people feel like they have to do stuff for it because they know how to manipulate the world. They don't never speak to one of the ones that can speak up for themselves, that actually have creative ideas and try to make the world all the way better to me. And that's something that has always bothered me. But in order to change it, we have to change it. Just like with spirituality and just like with disability, it's not the condition that controls it. It's us and the narrative we allow to be put out there. So I feel like as spiritualists, we need to step up. And as a disabled community, we need to step up. And that's what I try to represent for both. I want to represent the positive voice of both segments because I believe I love you too. I all right. I believe both segments gets a raw deal, and I want to change that on both ends. So that's my goal, to control the narrative and to change it, to show the goodness that spirituality can bring to your life, the freedom it can bring you, the happiness it can bring you, the good things it can bring you. And Miss Alicia is one of the people that's live right now. She's one of the most friendly, down to earth spiritualists that could ever help you guys if you ever needed it. Her and her husband Sean, and Miss Persephone and her mom, and all the other great spiritualists that I have mentioned are great people. And oh, Miss Lucky too. She is one of the most friendly or vibe or beat spiritualists you'll ever meet. You just smile when you go on her page. Look her up. She's one of the most positive people ever. But any one of the people I just listed to you are some of the most positive people in spirituality that will tell you the truth and hold you accountable, and they will show you the best of spirituality. So don't let the world convince you that it's a bad thing. Sure, it's bad people out there. They use it for their own intentions, as I'm sure anything is. But there's anything in the world. Everybody gonna make their own interpretation of what it should be or what it shouldn't be. But I believe as people we have to put, if we want a good name on it, we have to step out and represent it for ourselves, or it will forever get put down, or it will forever not be respected. We have to make the change if we want the change to be taken seriously. But that's just my opinion. That's just how I feel about spirituality and having a disability. And I want to be a proper representation of both, that the world can be changed by it. But we have to control the narrative through what we do every day. We have to control the narrative through how we choose to represent it. We can't complain about it if we don't choose to fight against it and represent it properly. And that's what I'm fighting to represent each and every day. I wake up, spirituality and disability. I am a voice for both, and I stand for the difference to make the world a better place, to let the world know it's something that should be accepted and nobody should be clowned or made fun of because they choose to believe in it, or they choose to have it, or God chose to make them a little different. And that's all I'm saying. If we want better representation, we have to create it through what we do. Follow me and follow the people I gave you on this list, and I think you will have a different representation of what spirituality means and what having a disability means if you follow me, in my opinion. But that's just my mindset of what I came on here to talk about today. I hope it helps you and I hope it motivates you as much as it motivates me to make it every day. I love you guys, and I will have more for you tomorrow. I promise you that, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, though. Excuse me.